You ever have that one friend who can take the smallest, most ordinary thing, like a pork bone, and somehow turn it into a global discussion about segregation, nuclear bombs, and why the world's going downhill faster than your phone battery? Yeah, that's Jesse B. Semple, or as his friends call him, Simple. Simple is not the kind of guy who will politely sip his drink and nod when you talk. No. He's the guy who will poke holes in your argument, drag you down a rabbit hole of sharp observations, and leave you thinking, wait, did we just start talking about movie ticket prices and end up solving, or at least diagnosing, systemic racism? And the best part? He does it all while speaking in that easy Harlem ghetto English, the kind that feels like you're sitting in a corner bar, the jukebox humming in the background, and somebody's telling you the truth about the world, whether you're ready to hear it or not. Today, we're diving into The Best of Simple, Langston Hughes' brilliant collection of short, sharp, and painfully funny stories that tell you more about Black life in segregation-era America than a stack of history books ever could. So here's the deal. The Best of Simple isn't one long story. It's 70 tiny, razor-sharp slices of life. Think of it as a literary tapas bar. Each piece builds on the last, following the life and loud thoughts of Jesse B. Semple. Now, Simple is not extraordinary in the Hollywood hero sense. He's not rich, he's not powerful, he's not going to suddenly pull off a bank heist and retire to the Caribbean. He's just average. An average Black man in Harlem, with average jobs, average love problems, and a not-so-average way of seeing the world. He works here and there when he can hold on to a job, lives day to day, saves money to marry, sends some to family, and in between, gets tangled in the endless frustrations of being Black in Jim Crow America. And when I say tangled, I mean it's the kind of knot even the Boy Scouts would give up on.
I'm done! I'm disengaging!
Now, Simple's not narrating his own stories. That job goes to his buddy Joe, drinking partner, friend, and full-time devil's advocate. Joe listens to Simple, sometimes agreeing, sometimes poking holes in his theories, and often teasing out even sharper insights. Joe's like that friend who says, "Are you sure about that?" just to see how far you'll run with your point. And oh, Simple runs. Let's start with his views on segregation. Simple knows the game's rigged. He's seen it all. Black folks pushed into slums, cut off from white neighborhoods not with fences, but with sky-high rent and unofficial rules. He sees foreigners, so long as they're white, walk into America and enjoy more rights than the Black citizens who were born there. And his comparisons? Chef's kiss. At one point, he says whites have game reserves with big no-hunting signs to protect animals. But when it comes to Black people, well, they get slums without any no-lynching signs. Ouch. But Simple's not only about the heavy stuff. Oh no, he's got opinions about everything. Fashion? Don't get him started. Skirts are getting shorter, dresses barely cover anything. He'll gripe about that for hours. Movies? Same story. Where are the Black folks apart from singing roles? And jobs? Why is it that even when a Black person has the skills, they're stuck with the most menial work and lowest pay? Then there's the identity crisis. Simple notices how some Black folks, in their desperate climb up the social ladder, powder their faces, change their hair, copy white culture, and avoid their own communities like they're allergic to melanin. He calls out the privileged ones, those who rub shoulders with whites, move to white neighborhoods, and then pretend they care about uplifting their people while keeping their distance from anyone less privileged. And then comes one of the most unusual observations about segregation: language. Simple points out that if a Black person speaks a foreign language, or even just pretends to, they actually get treated better, almost like whites. But speak English, especially ghetto slang, well, it's right back to the bottom rung for you. Of course, Simple's own love life is a subplot worth its own book. He's smack in the middle of a divorce from Zarita while also courting Joyce, a cultured woman who just about rubs shoulders with Harlem's Black elite. Watching him navigate women is honestly like watching a man try to build a house with a butter knife. Plenty of effort, but you just know disaster's coming. Now here's the fun part about Simple. He can be talking about something small and personal, like whether it's polite to suck pork bones, and suddenly leap to discussing atomic bombs, international politics, or the intricacies of Jim Crow laws. With him, Nothing stays small for long. All of these musings, jokes, arguments, and sharp-eyed truths come together in Langston Hughes' The Best of Semple, originally published in 1961. It's 70 short stories, all strung together to give us a picture of one man's life, but also the life of an entire community during segregation. This is the kind of book that sneaks up on you. At first, it feels light, almost like stand-up comedy with a beer in hand. But the more you read, the more you realize Hughes is pulling off something much more powerful. Through humor, banter, and even petty complaints, Semple reveals the realities of racism, poverty, cultural change, and the endless hustle for dignity. I think what makes the book so effective is the dialogue. Hughes doesn't dress it up. He writes in Harlem street English, giving you the rhythm, slang, and flavor of real conversations. It's so vivid you can almost hear the laughter, the clinking glasses, the pauses before the punchlines. The Joe-Semple dynamic is genius. Joe keeps things balanced, making sure the stories don't turn into pure rants. He challenges Semple, offering counterpoints, and in doing so, we get a richer, more nuanced view of each topic. It's also impressive how Hughes avoids romanticizing the Black experience. He shows joy, yes, but also disappointment, hypocrisy, and contradictions within the community. It's raw and real. So let's talk about some of the major themes. First, race and inequality. That's really the heart of the book. Segregation, job discrimination, social exclusion, Hughes doesn't sugarcoat it. Next, identity. From trying to pass as white to speaking foreign languages for status, Hughes shows the struggle for self-definition. Then there's class within the Black community, privileged folks distancing themselves from others, even while pretending to be advocates. Friendship and dialogue is another big one. The Joe-Semple banter shows how conversation can be a tool for reflection, critique, and even survival. And finally, humor as resistance. By laughing at the absurdities of the world, Semple manages to confront them without being crushed by them. Langston Hughes, who lived from 1902 to 1967, wasn't just a writer. He was one of the central figures of the Harlem Renaissance. A poet, novelist, playwright, and social commentator, Hughes had a real gift for capturing the voices and rhythms of everyday Black life. Through characters like Semple, he brought those voices to a wider audience, refusing to let them be erased or ignored. In The Best of Semple, Hughes does what he does best, showing that the lives, struggles, joys, and humor of ordinary Black Americans are worth telling, worth reading, and worth remembering. So if you want a book that makes you laugh, think, and maybe even squirm a little, pick up The Best of Semple. It's not just history, it's humanity, told in a voice you won't forget. And trust me, once you meet Semple, you'll start seeing the world a little differently. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.